Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming in. I've got some more people. We're going to give just a couple more minutes because we've got a lot of people in our waiting room. Okay. Hi, Kara. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. I just wanted to say a few words about the Downtown Business Association. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. I am Lambert-Tompkins with the Downtown Business Association. We started these webinars kind of as a response. We usually have our monthly happy hours and all that where we can shake hands and look at each other. But we started these webinars as kind of a way to stay engaged with our members. And we're really excited that people are participating, and this is kind of getting kicked off. So maybe we'll continue to do it in the future. But the main point that I want to get across to all of our members is that we're here for you. And we really want to hear from you because we have so many different types of businesses. Ranging from bars to restaurants, to law firms, to marketing agencies. We have our work cut out for us on appropriately offering everyone benefits. So we really need to hear from you and learn what you want to, what kind of resources you want to see coming out of your business association. So please give me a call, shoot me an email. My email is lauren@downtownbr.org, and let's just talk to me about what your business is going through right now, or any resources or webinars that you think would be helpful to you. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Everyone should be muted, but if you're not on mute, can you please keep on mute? And if you have any questions, please use the chat function. We will unmute toward the end of the webinar for any questions if anyone wants to chime in, but we just want to make sure that we're able to kind of step back on all of that excess noise. And with that, we'll go ahead and hand it over to the star of the show, Julie with Emergent Method. She is a fantastic trainer and speaker, and I think everything for Emergent Method. So I'm really excited about this. And again, if y'all have any questions while Julie is giving her presentation, please just type them into the chat and we'll get started.
Hey guys. So since everybody's on mute, if you can't hear me or if you're having some issues, just shoot a little chat over there and let us know. So good afternoon. Good to see everybody. I love seeing people in any way imaginable right now. As an extreme extrovert, it makes me smile whenever I have a chance to connect with anyone right now. I'm sure a lot of you feel that same way. And of course, this is our new way of connecting. It seems like, I don't think the word Zoom has been in my vocabulary to the extent that it has the past 3 weeks in my entire life. So it has definitely been interesting. And, you know, I think for many of us, this reality, this world is 6 to 8 hours of our day right now for many of us who are working remotely. And I will say, as quickly as it permeated our lives, I think it has also just as quickly become an aggravation. Like now you're hearing almost a revolting against the video conferencing, like, oh my God, I have to get on another call. And not just for us, also for the people around us. So I'm going to do a little poll in a minute, but I know a lot of us are working from home with spouses or dependents, whether that's kids or other family members that we're taking care of. And it's tough being on here all day and, you know, off camera shooing people out of the way or saying, I'm on a call. I'm on a call right now all day long. I know one thing I'm also kind of tired of is the screen sharing. And I'm like, look, you know, oh, I'm gonna share this PowerPoint with you. I'm gonna share this. So I'm not gonna screen share with you today. We're just gonna kind of talk. But I do have some visual aids that I've printed out. One of the people who I am navigating working from home with is my 5-year-old. And if any of you have, you know, young children, you probably are experiencing a similar situation. We had a moment last week where she was just done with me shooing her out of the room. And our agreement was that I would let her sit in the room with me if she was quiet for my call. And so she constructed what she called a meditation fort underneath the table where I was working. So this is Gentry in her meditation fort. And you can see my leg right here as I'm continuing my Zoom call. She finally kind of got tired of that. And as I was expecting, popped up behind me and looked at my call. And she said out loud so that my call participants could hear, "Mom, you only have 4 people on your Zoom? I have like 20 on mine." And so began the world of Zoom shaming. I got Zoom shamed by my 5-year-old. But this is our world. This is what we are living in right now. So how can we stay in touch in meaningful ways with both our team members and clients and just our networking contacts? You know, those of you who are, I know I see several friends and contacts on the call. You know, I am a magpie fly. Like I love my magpie coffee. I was crushed when they left downtown, but I still visit the overpass one. And even just people that I see at Magpie regularly. I was thinking the other day, gosh, I'm missing my Magpie folks. So how can we keep up those connections in a meaningful way that doesn't feel forced, and that we come out of this still having those really good contacts? So today we want to talk, first of all, I want to hear a little bit from you guys about where you are. Like what is the reality that you're living in right now? Because the truth is, like, we are all in this together, but we are all in such different places. Everyone is dealing with a unique set of circumstances. Everyone is, you know, has different things have happened to their workload. And so I want to hear a little bit from you on that. We're going to talk about video conferencing and a little segment I like to call Do You Even Zoom? And then we're going to talk about email communication right now, then go a little bit old school, talk about phone calls and handwritten notes, and then kicking things up a notch, how you can really be remarkable in this era in maintaining good connections with your contacts. So first off, if you're on a phone, on your phone screen, you can tap it and a little menu will come up on the bottom, and there is a little section that says More, and it has 3 dots. If you click that, you will see 2 little reaction options, and one of them is a clapping hand and one of them is a thumbs up. So if you're on a computer screen, you just at the bottom kind of roll your cursor over to where you can see where it says participants, video, chat, share screen, record. There's a button called reactions, and if you click on that, it will show a clapping hand or a thumbs up. So I want to ask you a couple of things just so we can get a pulse for the room. So first off, if you are, I want to know what your working situation is. So I want to know if you're working from home exclusively, if you are working from home but going in a little bit somewhere, or if you are essential and you are going into an office somewhere. So using your thumbs up reaction, if you are working from home exclusively, give me a thumbs up right now. Okay, quite a bit of folks. If you are, okay, we're going to let those go away. They kind of just fade. This is a fun reaction thing you can use on your calls, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. Second one, if you are working from home mostly, but popping in and out of an office some, give me a thumbs up. All right, Charles. And then last one, if you're essential and you are going in, you are still actively working in an office or in a out of the home setting. Okay, so most of us are working from home, maybe popping into an office a little bit. Second thing I want to know, if you are working from home mostly, which we all are, if you have other people in your house, give me a thumbs up. All right, pretty much everybody. All right, there's a handful of folks who are flying solo, and that presents its own set of challenges. You know, being isolated, being at home alone all day, especially if you're a person who really craves contact, and if part of the reason you like to go to work is to connect with people, that's a whole other level of stress that is being added. All right, last one I want to know is what has happened to your workload in the past 3 weeks? So I want to know if your workload has actually increased, if it's still about the same, or if your workload has decreased. So give me a thumbs up if your workload has increased over the past few weeks. Yeah, handful of folks. Yeah, I see our HR attorney there. Not a surprise that her workload has increased. All right, if your workload is pretty much the same, if you have an even workload that you had, let's say mid-February. Okay. And then has your workload decreased? Do you actually have a little bit more downtime right now because you aren't able to do the thing that is your primary job? Yes. A lot of folks in client-facing industries where people are just, you know, your clients are struggling, so it's hard for you to do your work with them. I get that. All right, great. So this is just good to know. And I want you to keep this under consideration. You know, look at all these different scenarios that just a few of us who are on this call are living in. And this is a really important piece to consider as we think about how do we stay in touch with people. So many of us on this call just said, my workload has increased. While I am sitting at home, I'm dealing with a different set of stress. I have other people at my house with me who I'm trying to navigate working with them, and I'm doing more work than usual. And there's a global pandemic. So, you know, everyone is dealing with such a unique, different set of stressors. So let's first off just take a minute to say, like, we are all in this together, but in different places. And we need to be thinking about that as we're reaching out to folks and our expectations for their communication back to us and how we want our communication during this time to be received and perceived. So all good things to keep in mind going in. So, all right, do you even Zoom? How many of you feel like your primary mode of communicating with other humans right now is via video conferencing? Give me a thumbs up. Yes. How many of you wish we could just go back to conference calls every now and then so I could do some damn laundry while I was on this thing? Yeah, I'm like, please, people, like makeup and laundry, all these things. So a couple of things. Zoom is great, and truly, especially for the folks who are sitting at home and they are by themselves. It is a great opportunity to give people an opportunity to connect with others. And we all agree it is more engaging when you can see other people and you can really connect with them. I use in a lot of my meeting facilitation workshops, I use that YouTube video, a conference call in real life. I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen that before, about all of the perils of being on conference calls. I feel like a video conference at least relieves a few of those, which is nice. But smaller groups are better. If you're doing the large group thing, if you're connecting with like a large constituency group, if maybe your customers or clients need to hear something from you and it works better for you to do it in sort of a town hall format, let everybody come in and you know, listen to you give an update on something, you know, that's great. That's not necessarily, that's going to be a good way for you to be a resource in those moments. That's not necessarily going to be that great connection opportunity because it is hard to have meaningful conversations or back and forth when there's a large group on. Smaller groups can be really good. Something that we're trying with some of our clients is maybe getting on a larger group, everybody connecting and hearing about something that's going on, and then breaking off into smaller groups to have more of a discussion about that topic. So that could be one option if you're looking for ways to stay in touch with your team in that way. Or clients, maybe pulling together a small group of people who you normally would be connecting with face-to-face on a regular basis, getting a handful of them all together and kind of sharing struggles. What are you doing right now? What's working? What's not working? Here's updates from our perspective. Can be another way to keep people in. Having a little coffee meeting. Hey guys, let's all meet for coffee at 8:30 tomorrow morning. We'll hop on a Zoom and I can give you some updates about this. Or a lot of groups are doing the cocktail chats. You know, let's jump on and have a happy hour. So from the team perspective, this can be a really good, that can be a really good way to keep those connections. A few just logistic things with using the video conferencing. One, you might notice Lauren laid out some ground rules whenever we got on. This is a really good way to start the call off well. If you are the facilitator, lay some ground rules out. Let people know, hey guys, here's the format. We're all going to be on here. I am presenting, or whoever is the presenter is going to be presenting. We're going to mute everyone, or we're not going to mute everyone. Please be respectful of background noise. And when you're going to jump in, request using the chat for questions if you want to do it that way. Just kind of tell people how you want it to run. And then also, some options are, I'm going to do round robin calling on people and asking people to give an update. I'd love to hear from everyone how it's going. So I'm just going to call people out in the order that they are in my screen. That's one thing that we're doing for our weekly team meetings is we're saying, we're going to let everybody give a quick update on what they're doing. Charles, you're going to go first. Melissa, you're right after Charles. All right, Melissa goes. Melissa, now Sarah, you're right after Melissa, and letting everyone kind of prep for when they're going to be called on and not making it a huge surprise. Also, if you want to see everyone, if you think that that's a good team builder, if you think that that's going to be beneficial to your video conference, prepare people ahead of time. When you send that invitation out, tell people, hey, we're going to have this Zoom call. The reason we're doing a video conference is because we think it's really going to help us stay connected to see each other. So we would like everyone to use their video. Because it is sort of awkward when, this is a different situation. We're all, I'm sure a lot of you are still trying to get some work done and sort of listen to this and, understand. If there's an important update you need to give to your team or you really want everyone to be engaged, it is a little bit awkward if some people are video on and some people have their video off. So just lay the expectation ahead of time so that someone isn't caught, in a towel or something. We've all seen the bloopers that have been happening over the past couple of weeks. So give them a heads up. If you are the facilitator, I know this is silly, and we're all trying to make this work right now, but as much as you can, try to set yourself up. Make sure your computer is plugged in. Make sure you have good internet access so you're not freezing up for everybody. Try to set yourself up to where the lighting isn't terrible so they can at least see you. I'm not in a great spot right here, but I'm kind of literally in a closet in our office trying not to bother the other two people who are here working. But if the light source in your room that you're in is coming from behind you, like if the windows are behind you, sometimes it can sort of make you look like you're in the witness protection program. You don't want your face to be completely blacked out and the light coming from behind. Also, look at what's behind you. There may or may not be things you want other people to see. And, my office at least is having a whole lot of fun screenshotting people and then passing it around. So, you may think it's just on this little video, but it could be living in perpetuity. So just be wary of when your video is turned on and what's behind you, what you want people to see. Test technology ahead of time. If you will be sharing your screen, make sure you know how to do that and you're comfortable with that technology. Also, with Zoom in particular, and I know it's different for a lot of the different platforms, with Zoom, you can choose to just show one program, or you can choose to show your whole screen. And I will say I got bitten by this a couple of weeks ago. I was sharing my screen and not really thinking. I had a PowerPoint presentation up and I was sharing my screen and a message popped up from somebody. And it wasn't wildly inappropriate, but it just probably didn't need to be shared with that audience at that moment. And so, I learned my lesson. I need to just share the program from now on. That way, if something pops up that I don't need this entire class of people to see, it's not popping up there. So be cautious of those sorts of things. Also, if you are using Zoom or some video chat as a team builder to keep people together and keep people connected, find ways to make it engaging. I know all of us have probably been on at least one or two where everybody's like, well, all right, we just wanted to get the team together. Right? Anybody got anything? Well, what's happening with you, Aaron? Well, what's going on, Polly? And everyone kind of just sits there awkwardly. Build it out a little bit more. Treat it like it's a meeting. Create an agenda. Are we going to do updates? Let people know ahead of time if they're expected to give an update. Are we going to do something fun? Our team has been doing Friday happy hours at 4 o'clock every Friday afternoon, and we've been having a theme for all of our different happy hours. So I don't know if any of you saw, Jimmy Kimmel has been promoting, since we're all casual all the time now, that we have formal Fridays instead of casual Fridays. So one Friday for our happy hour, we all wore formal. Like I wore like a Mardi Gras ball gown. We had some guys in tuxes. Last week, or I guess the week before Good Friday, I don't know if y'all have seen this floating around the internet, but the whole Google your first name glamour shot and see what comes up. So everyone on the team was told ahead of the meeting, Google your first name and glamour shot and make that your virtual background for Zoom. And then we all got to discuss like the glamour shot that was behind everybody. So this was mine, which was, you know, it's super indicative of my other personality when I'm not being a managing director of training at Emergent Method. But they were all really fun. It gave us something to talk about, and we weren't just kind of sitting on the call waiting to see what was going on. This is also a really good opportunity to, you know, share professional development moments with your team. If somebody's really good at something, have them teach, you know, do a 5 or 10 minute little learning moment on some of your team meetings. We're also using it as an opportunity to kind of share company folklore. So, you know, we have tons of just funny stories of, you know, stuff that happened with clients or stuff that happened late working in the office trying to get a deliverable out by midnight. And when new people on board, you know, they may not be in on the jokes. And so we're using our happy hours to sort of tell 1 or 2 like Emergent Method stories and get someone, you know, one of the old school folks to tell their stories. And that's been a really fun way for us all to stay connected. So, you know, if you are using these in that way, try to build a little bit of structure around it so that it's not just an awkward, we're all sitting on here waiting to see who's going to talk next. All right, email communication right now. So earlier this week, I got 2 emails in my inbox back to back from vendors that I use for leadership training materials. So one of them, I had actually ordered a kit. I get this kit to do a simulated society activity with them. And I had ordered one like mid-March. I was supposed to be doing my, I guess early March. I was supposed to be doing the workshop at the end of March. So I had ordered the kits for that group. And they came in, and my contact with that company emailed me earlier this week, and he said, "Hey, Julie, you know, I just wanted to check in. I know you had just ordered that kit. It looks like you had a pretty big workshop coming up. Was the workshop able to happen, or is it postponed? You know, what's going on in your world? I would love to connect. Let me know if I can help you with anything." It was incredibly personalized. He knew I had placed an order recently. I had gotten it in right when all of the world exploded. There was a potential that, you know, that had gone awry. It was concern for me. It was offering help. It was very personalized. And I replied, and we've been emailing a little bit back and forth this week. The email I received immediately following that email was this email. And I'm just going to direct you to this one line in the subject, which is pending price increase 5/1/2020. This is literally the subject line of an obviously form email that I received from a vendor of mine that says, notice of pending price increase May 1st. This is the subject line. The whole world is falling apart. Nobody knows what's going on. We want to make sure you know that we're about to increase the prices of the product that you buy from us that you probably can't buy right now because no one is doing the thing that you need this product for. I mean, could you be more tone deaf? And this is the sad part. This is from a company that produces leadership development materials. I've been like off and on crafting an email all week to the CEO of this company to say, like, the content in your books and the materials that we get is so good. And it so highly focuses on leadership as a relationship. And this was the least relationship focused email you could have sent me in this moment. And how sad is that? So be very cautious if you are sending out blanket emails right now. You know, if you are, you know, I got obviously like a form newsletter email from one of the hospitals here in town earlier this week. And it was letting me know that they have set up a special fund to help patients who are being impacted by COVID-19. And if you would like to redirect any giving that you were planning on giving to that particular fund, here's how you can do it. Okay, I'm fine with getting that form email. It's letting me know what's going on in the world. It's being aware of the situation that we're in. And I get it. You've got, probably several thousand people on your mailing list. You can't personalize it. That's fine. If you're sending emails out to your customers, if you're sending emails out, letting people know the status of your business, you've got to have some awareness that you don't know the status of their business, possibly. If at all possible, if there's anyone in your organization who has time, if there's anyone whose workload is a little bit lighter, or if that person is you, please try to send those things out on an individual level. How can I personalize this? And even if you put something together that's kind of your template, and then before you hit send, you look and see, what's the last communication I had with this person? What would make sense that would be a greeting that would show them that I personalized this to a certain extent before I hit send on it? Can I ask them something about their family or their business that they own? Or can I tell them that I recently patronized their business to let them know I'm still supporting them? Can I let them know that I've been thinking about them? Can I pass along an article that might be relevant to their industry or to their particular situation? Anything you can do to personalize right now, because especially not knowing exactly where everybody's sitting, sending a form something just feels very tone deaf right now. So just be on alert for those emails. And if you have anything scheduled, I know a lot of people schedule stuff, social media and newsletters far in advance. If you had anything that you scheduled maybe beginning of March or something and it's about to go out, go and double check all of that and just make sure that it's not looking like you're completely oblivious to what's going on in the world right now. Please, if any of you have questions, I feel like I'm kind of just going on and on, but if anybody has questions or thoughts, shoot a chat or feel free to unmute just yourself and kind of raise a hand or let me know. All right. Oh, I feel like somebody just unmuted.
Hey, Julie.
Anybody? Yeah.
We use a CRM software, so it's preset to respond to certain things. And I've had to go in and unset that CRM software because the tones, even in the stuff that we do. I work for Louisiana Travel Association, y'all. So in case y'all haven't met me, hi, nice to meet y'all. So we deal with the travel and tourism industry and the businesses behind that and all the small businesses that are there. So a lot of our responses are preset for certain type of requests. And we've had to go back into that and change the emails. Even as yesterday, one of my team members, we were talking to folks and they said they wanted membership information and what are we doing and that kind of thing. And I had to go in and rewrite everything with the tone to be respectful for what is going on, because you just don't know what folks are going through. And you brought that up in the setting of this, of having to work at home, having a kid under your legs. We just did one with our marketing director, and her 2-year-old was helping conduct the video. She would run in and conduct the video and then run out. So, but in that tone is very, very important, and checking those type of things. And if you have partners or folks that you're helping in business, you might want to ask them to check those things. And I've probably been on 50 of these Zoom webinars since this all started. We do about 5 a week of our association. So Julie's dead on about the tone and doing those type of things. So I can't reiterate that enough. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks.
No, thank you. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, well, and I will say, even within our own organization, so many of you are probably not familiar with, I'm with a consulting firm that's here in downtown Baton Rouge. And in the normal world, we have sort of 5 different areas of focus. And I run our leadership development and soft skills training suite of services. We have a guy who's over IT project management. We do a lot of outreach and communications for government agencies. We do a lot of large scale project management for, it's mostly states and regional authorities. We do a lot of strategic planning for nonprofits and for membership organizations, associations. Well, the folks who do strategic planning and leadership development, our workload is pretty light right now. the folks who do these large scale projects, and particularly those who work with, states and local governments, a lot of their workload has increased. Now, some of us, because my work has completely dried up almost, I've jumped over and started helping them out. Some folks aren't able to pivot quite as easily. So we have some folks on our team who are working consistently 12 to 14-hour days, particularly with our clients that are dealing with COVID responses. And then we have some team members who are struggling to make a full day every day. They're working 6 hours, maybe hitting 8 hours a couple days a week. And so even within our own team, we're having to be very cautious about how we're communicating, because, the folks who have a little bit of a lighter load, they feel a little bit helpless. And I know this is coming from a good place. They're offering, gosh, how can we help? Well, why don't I set up a lunch call for us tomorrow, and we can all hop on and visit with each other while we eat lunch. Well, the people who are working a 12-hour day right now, they're like, I barely have time to go to the bathroom, much less sit and eat lunch and chit chat with everybody. And it's not that they intended to offend anyone. They were looking for, how can we stay connected and how can we keep collaborating? And it's just, we've just all got to be hyper aware of where everybody's sitting right now.
On that, Julie, on that note, I just got a note from our HR person in accounting. We're doing timesheets so they can keep track of COVID hours and all that type of stuff that we're doing. And I turned in my timesheets and she goes, you don't have anything marked for lunch. You're working 10 and a half hour days. And I said, well, that's because I'm eating while I'm on the computer doing a conference call while doing emails, So we're experiencing that end of it. But again, having to keep that same tone and consciousness of the folks that don't have that. I know that I saw some stuff, some of my business associates who are furloughed or out of work right now are planting gardens and doing all that. And they've been sending me messages and showing me all that. And I think that's wonderful, but it was actually making me angry because I'm going, I still have the same list. I got to the weekend, and they're going, are you having fun running around? I'm like, no, I'm not having fun. I'm working, so it's that balance.
Yeah.
But these help. These type of calls help.
No, and that's, I've had a little bit of that too. And I hate to admit it because I know jealousy is one of the most unbecoming emotions to hold, but I've had some jealousy from my working mom friends who have been sending all the messages and saying, I'm really relishing this time to spend at home with my kids, and we're doing all this family stuff. And meanwhile, I've been one of the people working the 12-hour days, and I've almost had to stop communicating with people on some weeks because it's unfortunate, but it makes me really upset. And so I know they're not doing it with any degree of malice. And I'm, deep down in my heart, I'm so thankful for that, that they are having that opportunity, but it is frustrating when you're not. And so like I said, there's a lot of, and, meanwhile, a lot of folks are able to have those moments because they've been furloughed from work and they wish that they had the work that we had because they're not getting a paycheck right now. So there's so many different emotions. And I also encourage, if any of you have one, make sure your company is encouraging use of your EAP, your employee assistance program, and calling in and talking to someone if the frustration reaches a level where you past your point of being able to get through it. So outside of the video conferencing world and the digital communication world, phones still work. So this is something that we have almost forgotten as a means of communication because we think we have to look at everybody every minute that we're talking to them these days. But I will say I have had some of the best phone calls with clients and just with friends over the past couple of weeks, not, 12 people on a video call, but just one-on-one calling some of my clients and saying, hey, what's going on with you? How are you? How's your business? How are you personally? How's your team? What are you doing to cope? Is there anything I can do to help? And those have truly, the past couple of weeks have been some of the best phone calls that I have had with people. And, I'll pop in my headphones and go take a little walk around my block. Again, I'm trying to find some happy in every day. And aren't we so blessed that this weather has been spectacular? Because truly, I think we would all be a little bit crazier. I know we're all a little crazy, but we'd all be a little bit crazier if the weather wasn't so nice. But I've been going on walks and calling somebody and just catching up. And I highly encourage, if you have the available time, to do some one-on-one calls with folks and start out by saying, hey, I would love to catch up with you. Is this a good time? Or what's your workload like? Do you have time for a little catch up? And acknowledging that you might be in a different place than them even just that day, and figuring out a time that you can call and check in. Also, I know a handful of you have been in some of my networking workshops, and you know that I am a crazy, avid, raging fan of handwritten notes. And I've been sending a ton of them lately. I think some of you have seen my Tom Hanks thank you notes that say T. Hanks, thanks. I have a picture of Tom Hanks on them. And they're little postcards, and I've just been writing a little note on the back and saying, thanks for all the work we were able to do so far this year. Hate that we're not being able to connect in person right now. Can't wait to see you again, and sending them a little note or a funny greeting card. I've been online ordering like funny notes and sending them to folks. And everyone who I've sent a note to has replied and said, that was the best thing I got in the mail today, or that made my day. Thank you for sending this note. So take advantage of, if you do have a little bit of available time, sit down and write a couple of notes. I've also been making my kids write notes to people in our family, grandparents and aunts and uncles who are at home solo, and family friends. And one, trying to teach them how to write a note because I think it's a skill everyone needs to learn. But two, that's another thing. We've gotten a lot of good positive responses from the family members that they've sent that to, because I know a lot of them are missing their family time, and that's been a way for us to stay connected with them. Any questions? All right.
Hey, Julie.
So last little section. Yeah. Hey.
Hey, Melissa. Just wanted to say this has really been good, and it's interesting because staying in touch but making it not seem, like there's an ulterior motive is very important. So I think being genuine and having the true empathy and leading with the empathy is what it's about. And that's what I hear you saying. And that has been the best for me. I am technology challenged. I'm excited I got on today. So, and kind of reminds me after Katrina, or none of us knew how to text. And the next thing you know, that's all you do. So the same thing, I apply and think of Zoom in the same way. So it's a new technology I've had to learn, and I have my challenges, but you try to work on something to make it a strength. But I have found the telephone has really been a key thing, and that connection has been good. And another one is a couple of folks that were Facebook friends and that I never was before. And these are physicians and nurses, and we're sharing things like our favorite music. So we're not even talking business, just person to person trying to relate. So I think that's also a key thing to do, is to find something that, no business, this is all fun. So that's also been appreciated. I feel like it's taken my relationship to a different level. But thank you for doing this today.
Happy to do it. Well, and that's and truly, I'm sure everyone has had these moments, like you're having a stressful day and the person you're communicating with is not having their stress day today. Like maybe they had theirs yesterday and they're in a good mood today, but you're having your stress day and you inadvertently take it out on them. So I did that to my 12-year-old nephew a couple of days ago. He, like everyone is trying to find these ways to connect, and which is awesome. But again, that going back to that empathy piece and recognizing that everyone might not be in the same place as you today, they were insistent that our whole family, my husband is one of 4 siblings, and we're kind of spread out around the country. And we had decided we were going to try to do some family bake-offs because all the kids love to bake and cook. And we were going to set different themes. Once a week, we would try to do a bake-off. One week was cookies, the next week was pizza, the next week was something, and we'd show off. We'd all get together and kind of pitch our ideas, and then we'd get off of the call and everybody would cook, and then we'd come back on and show the stuff that we made, which is great. And it's such a good way for the cousins to connect and a good way for the family to connect. But he just caught me on the wrong day. And we had talked about doing it at some point one week, and he called me at like 10 o'clock one day when I was just, I mean, I couldn't even keep straight how many calls I needed to be on and what time and which ones I was leading and which one I was participant in. He's like, hey, we need you to go to the store right now because we're going to do this bake-off at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And I just said, well, I don't know if you know this, but some of us have to work. And we just can't zip off to the store right now and get everything ready for a bake-off at 2 o'clock. So maybe we need a little bit more advanced time so that we can all be prepared for this. And my sister-in-law, his mom, texted me afterwards and was like, hey, so sorry. You know, everybody's kind of stressed right now, and we really want to do this to get the kids together, and we think it'll be fun. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was such a raging, terrible witch to my 12-year-old nephew who did not deserve that today. But, you know, just, I think we're all kind of having those moments. And so, you know, if you're ready for the happy hour today and your team isn't, or vice versa, you know, try to meet people where they are. So if you are someone who has a little bit of capacity, you have the ability to give a little bit more flexibility. Maybe you have, you know, you're still getting a paycheck and you can take some liberties with that a little bit, you know, kick it up a notch. Like I said, buy some really cool stationery, you know, jump online and get something that is going to be fun or funny for somebody to receive. We've had two different teams on our Emergent Method team this week have both had just incredible deliverables in, you know, short timelines, and they have been working their tails off. And so me and my kids last night, I kind of had a night off. I didn't have to work super late last night. And so I went home and my kids helped me make cards for a couple of the folks on our team. And we got a bottle of wine for each of them and went and delivered it around to their houses. And so this was my kids across the street. You can see we're social distancing. That's my coworker on the other side of the street who we delivered her bottle of wine in a little bag and a note card to her saying, you know, we know you're working hard. Hope the rest of your week goes well. And let me tell you, those kinds of things, I mean, you obviously do it in hopes that it brightens the other person's day, but it sure does brighten your day too, to be the person who can like help somebody else have a little bit of a better day amidst all this chaos. So if you have the chance, you know, do something like that. Even if people aren't in person, we just onboarded a couple of team members, which has to be the weirdest situation ever, joining a team from your living room. You know, oh, now I'm your new coworker and I see you in your bedroom every day. But we had one team member who we just onboarded who lives in North Carolina, and she and I are working really closely together. We've become really fast friends over the past 3 weeks. And I gathered up a bunch of fun prop stuff from my training drawer that I have here at Emergent Method and sent her a fun box with a magic wand and some Play-Doh and some other stuff that I use in trainings, and was like, hey, I can't wait till we can create fun trainings together and do silly things. If I had a magic wand, we could be working on training together right now. Here's your magic wand, and just sent her a box of things. So, and again, that kind of stuff, like you'll be surprised how much fun you have with it if you give yourself a few minutes to make someone else's day. So we can open it up for questions right now, guys. Thoughts, jump in or shoot a chat question.
This has been great.
Right.
I braved myself. Like, I'm so impressed with you guys with the wearing makeup. Look, I've got you slided on my other screen. Like Lauren and Melissa, you guys look so great. Jen and Julie. And I'm like, no, with the hat, I'm about to go take my dog on a walk. I haven't put makeup on in over a month, not even for Easter. So this has been great. I've got so many good ideas, and I think you're right. You know, I had a girlfriend say on Monday that, Friday, that her kids they knew, their bodies knew it was 30 days, 4 weeks without school, and they were all flipping out. And I had my day on Monday, and I have, like, my children are grown. I have a high school senior, Y'all like, oh, and then I have a grown son who works, and he's living with us. But yeah, I think everybody, just grace is the word of the year. So this is great, great ideas. And I think when you do something for other people, that's just, it really does make a difference. All of those things. So thank y'all so much. And my messy kitchen behind me. So.
No, that's everybody. Today I had a Zoom call with a guy, this client in North Carolina we're working with, who I have literally Zoomed with every day for the past 3 weeks. And he goes, "Oh, Julie, you're looking fancy today." And so I'm leading a webinar this afternoon, and he was like, "I'm so disappointed that you don't get dressed up for us." I was like, "I still love you, Heath. I just can't do it every day." Yeah. But
Kara, turn my video on so that you can see me not wearing makeup either. Make you feel better. But speaking to Julie, what you were saying about how it's actually good for you to do something as well, like dropping off a little nice for someone. So Easter weekend, my husband has not, we boil crawfish every Easter on Saturday. And he was like, this will be the first one. And he get all week, should we do it anyways? I'm like, I don't think so. We should just go buy some and like get in the back, or just go sit in the backyard and eat, like go support a local business. I mean, we can't boil, it's a lot of work for just us. And then Saturday he woke up and he was like, it's been 19 years. I have to do this. I was like, well, if it will help you and your morale, like let's go boil some crawfish. We get in the backyard. And they were like, hey, we like text all of our neighbors and we passed trays of crawfish over the fence, and like everyone wanted something to eat. So we ended up, and it was like very memorable and fun. And my birthday was yesterday, and without going into detail about how it happened, nobody communicated on if they were like going to get, like our office manager brought me breakfast. And while I was on my first conference call, I got a text like, go outside. And then someone else brought me breakfast. They both got me Chick-fil-A. Same thing. It was funny. Well, I'm on the conference call with my business partner, and he texted me, your lunch is now ruined. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, I got fried chicken delivered to your house. So, and then someone else sent chicken wings for dinner. So I got 4 things of fried chicken sent to my house for my birthday. I was like, this was actually one of my favorite. My husband baked a cake. He's never baked me a cake before, right? So it ended up, everybody feels bad for like people that have these quarantine birthdays, but I think that what you're seeing, people are going that extra mile to try to do something because they feel bad for them right now. And it's turning out to be some of the best things. Now I can't speak to seniors, and my heart breaks for, we have birthdays every year. So this is cool to have something different. Seniors will never get that year back. So I don't mean to try to, compare the two. But for me, I think that it does, the crawfish, giving our neighbors crawfish was just as cool as me receiving fried chicken at my door. So it's been trying to find the positive stuff.
Yep. We got tired of chalking our own walks, so we started chalking the walks of our elderly neighbors around the neighborhood and going in their driveways and writing messages to them. And that's been like, if we skip a couple of days, my kids are like, Mom, we haven't even chalked anyone's walk. I'm like, you're right. We got to get back on that. I'm sorry. So, but yeah, I think that, empathy and grace are the words of the era. We'll kind of wrap up now. Thanks to everyone who jumped on and who shared some of their stories. I was very fortunate to be offered last week the opportunity to write a piece for the Baton Rouge Business Report for their women's newsletter called The Network. If you're not subscribed, any women in business, it's a really good newsletter that comes out twice a month, kind of about, being a working parent in the Corona era. And, it was just about like so you don't even, the good days and bad days. And some days my husband and I have been joking about, we have to split it into quarters. Like we can't even expect to have a whole good day. We have to be like, how about, was the first quarter good? Yeah. All right. Check. Like we had a good first quarter. The other day I had been up longer than I realized. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I had already been up for several hours working. And I was like, well, look, I think we had a good first half. Like we can have a good, like halftime, locker room talk. And he was like, hey babe, I think we're still at kickoff, but yeah, like let's count this as a win. Like good kickoff. But just giving yourself grace, giving other people grace. But when I was doing a little bit of research for that piece that I wrote, I came across this quote, and it is my screen background for my computer right now. And it is a Teddy Roosevelt quote, which is, do what you can with what you have where you are. And I think that is my mantra right now. Feel free to steal it. If you want this image to put on your computer, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to send it to you. And it was great to connect with all of you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank y'all for doing this and allowing me to participate. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for joining. This will be recorded, and I'll send it out to everyone who was on the call, as well as put it on our website, downtownbr.org. And I'll share it with Julie as well. And if anyone needs to get in touch with Julie and doesn't have her contact information, just let me know. And again, this was one of many webinars. So Downtown Business Association will continue to put these on. So check our website and follow us on social media, and we'll get you on our email list if you're not already. So you'll be notified of any more. I think I was actually on a webinar yesterday. We were talking a lot about marketing your small business, and I think the big takeaway from it was, well, I think really two takeaways, was that our community has physically gotten a lot smaller, but it's also gotten a lot stronger. So really relying on the people who are around you and supporting those people as well. And thinking about your neighbors, your businesses that are physically near you. I think is really important in this time, and it speaks true of all of the businesses that you work near as well. So partnering with businesses like Emergent Method and Downtown Business Association, partnering to bring you this webinar. We hope that everyone can find a new business to partner with, whether it's a client, an existing client, or future client, or just even competitors partnering together. I think it's really important. And the other takeaway that we had was to serve, not sell right now, which I think is it's a really important thing to remember when you're reaching out to clients, that you're here to serve them and not to sell them something new. But thank you so much to Julie for putting on this excellent webinar, and we're going to post it to our website. So thank you all.
All right. Thanks.